about today?
Let's talk about sovereign immunity.
What is sovereign immunity?
I know, it sounds really important, doesn't it?
Yes.
Yes. Well, it's essentially suing the government, and it kind of harkens back to the day where the king could not be sued, this sovereign, so he was immune from suit, or she was immune from suit, and there has to be a specific law in place, the sovereign immunity statute, to allow people to sue the government. So there's a whole kind of list of kind of requirements and limitations if you're going to sue the government. They make it really, really hard because they don't want you to sue the government. They don't want to have to pay out because it's the people's money. So there are a lot of barriers to suit. So one of them is you have to provide a written notice to the government and do that properly to the right entities with the right information, and then they get to respond to that. And if they don't respond to that, then you can go ahead and sue. So either you get a response, they deny it, or a response, they accept it and you settle. Or if they don't respond, then you can sue, but they're always going to look at that notice to see if it was technically correct, and if it's not, then they'll bounce you out and those things. So what are some other limitations for suing the government that the statute imposes?
Well, one of the major ones is there's a limitation on how much you can recover. No matter what your injury is, whether it's death, whether it's incapacitation, whether it's, doesn't matter. In Florida right now, those limits are $200,000 per person and $300,000 per incident. So if there's 2 or 3 or 4 people, you're limited to $300,000. Now there is one minor exception to that, is you can petition the legislature to get what is called a claims bill if the damages are in excess of $200,000, but that's a really difficult thing to do, and most claims bills do not pass.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and when they do pass, it's the legislatures involved. And I remember one well-known plaintiff's firm getting a claims bill actually approved, but they didn't allow any attorney's fees. So it was like a multi-million-dollar claim bill, but the legislature said, no, you don't get any attorney's fees on this.
For the years and years
right.
that the law firm had paid out over $1 million to litigate that case. So, and that's the other restriction on sovereign immunity, is that in a typical case, the attorney gets 33 1/3 before suit and 40% after. In a sovereign case, statutorily, we're limited to 25% attorney's fees, which actually is a big deal, because most sovereign cases, they know no matter what, they're never going to pay more than $200,000. So what you do for that 25% is almost always so much more than you would do in a standard case.
Yeah, they defend the cases very aggressively.
Yes.
So they make it very economically unattractive to bring suit, and then the litigation is typically very hard-nosed litigation with very little payoff for you or your client. And so, you really think twice whether you're going to bring a sovereign case or not.